Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about something huge, how artificial intelligence is about to completely reshape our schools. And look, this isn't some sci-fi story about robots replacing teachers. It's way, way bigger than that. We're talking about a fundamental evolution of education itself.
Okay, so how is this all going to play out? Well, we see it happening in three distinct waves. First, there's the assistant era, which is pretty much where we are right now. Then we'll look into the near future with the partner era. And finally, we'll explore the really wild stuff on the horizon, the Guardian era. And trust me, that one is a mind bender.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to walk through each of those three eras, one by one, and then we'll get to the most important part, figuring out what humanity's new job description looks like when AI is everywhere.
All right, let's start with what we already know, the assistant era. This is all about artificial narrow intelligence, or ANI. You've used this stuff. Think ChatGPT. Right now, AI is acting like the world's greatest intern. It's incredibly helpful, but it's not running the show.
But you might be wondering, if this tech is so good, why hasn't it just taken over everything overnight? Well, the answer is something called the institutional buffer. You've got big organizations like the US Department of Education and all the state certification boards, and they have rules, lots of them, that all boil down to one thing. A human being has to be legally responsible for a student's well-being and their evaluation. So even if the technology is ready to sprint, the system itself kind of puts on the brakes, and for very good reason.
Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. The key takeaway here is that AI doesn't eliminate jobs, it changes them. It takes over all the grunt work, the tedious test creation, the grading, the scheduling. And what does that do? It frees up educators to focus on the things only a human can do. We're talking about facilitating a really deep, meaningful class discussion, or making sure student data is being handled ethically, or providing that complex emotional support that, let's be honest, an algorithm is never going to understand.
And you can really see the before and after picture here. Before AI, the job is drowning in paperwork. You're basically just a machine for delivering information. But with AI, you're suddenly liberated from all that. Your role becomes about mediating human relationships, about designing awesome creative projects. You're shifting from being an information source to a builder of skills that AI just can't touch: creativity, collaboration, and real emotional intelligence.
So what's the survival strategy in this new world? You have to redefine your value. It's about becoming the go-to expert on human connection. It's about teaching students not just how to use AI, but also understanding its limits. And it's about providing the kind of leadership and vision that a machine, no matter how smart, simply can't. Okay, let's fast forward a little bit. Sometime around 2030, we enter the partner era. This is where artificial general intelligence, or AGI, comes into play. Now, AGI can reason and learn just like a human. So we're not talking about an intern anymore, we're talking about a brilliant co-teacher in the classroom. And this is where a brand new challenge pops up, and it's a big one. It's all about ethics and the law. So, even if you have an AGI that can teach physics perfectly, way better than any person, our laws are not going to allow a machine to have the final say on a kid's future. You get this major friction between the AI's flawless ability and our absolute legal responsibility as humans. If a perfect AI makes a 1 in a trillion mistake, who's liable? You can't sue an algorithm. The buck has to stop with a person.
And as you can see, the roles just transformed dramatically. The AGI is handling the perfect, personalized lessons. It's detecting when a student is in distress with 100% accuracy. The human is no longer doing that work. Instead, they become the legal signatory who signs off on everything. They are the emotional anchor when things get tough. They are the absolute last resort. And the principal, they're not stuck managing the school budget. They are now the guardian of the school's entire philosophy and its bond with the community.
This quote just absolutely nails the core idea of the AGI era. Your value is no longer based on what you can do because the AI can do it better. Your value is based on who you are for the students. You're the one who takes responsibility, the one who offers comfort, the one who makes that final, tough human judgment call.
So the strategy here is to double down on what makes us human. You have to be the final ethical decision maker. You lead by showing kids that it's okay to be imperfect, that it's okay to struggle, things a perfect machine can never model. And you become the host of the messy, physical, wonderfully inefficient parts of school life, like sports teams and school plays, because that's where real community is built.
Now, we're going to take a giant leap into the truly mind-bending future, the Guardian era, with artificial superintelligence, or ASI.
This could arrive around 2040, and it represents an intellect so far beyond our own, it's basically incomprehensible. And at this point, AI's role logically moves from the digital world into the biological one. It stops being a co-teacher and becomes something more like a biological guardian. So how is that even possible? The key technology here would be something like nanorobots. I want you to just imagine microscopic robots that can work inside your body, directly interacting with your cells and even your neurons. This isn't just a new educational tool. This would fundamentally change what it means to learn, to be healthy, to be human. The impact of this is just staggering. Learning is no longer a process, it's a download. Want to understand quantum mechanics? It's just integrated directly into your brain. What about social conflict, like bullying? That could be chemically erased by optimizing brain chemistry. And physical harm? It becomes a thing of the past. Nanobots could repair cell damage instantly. Just think about that. A world without injury, a world without conflict.
So, let's take a breath. If AI can teach us anything instantly, manage our emotions, and even heal our bodies, what is left for us to do? What is the job of a human in education? Well, it's pretty clear that humanity's job description gets a radical, top-to-bottom rewrite.
This chart really puts it all into perspective. You see AI's role evolve from an assistant to a partner to a guardian, and in response, the human role shifts from facilitator to legal anchor to ultimately a philosophical guide. In a world where technology has perfected everything, the human's job is to help students grapple with the biggest questions there are: purpose, ethics, meaning. Our key skill evolves from knowing about AI to making judgments about it to the most human task of all, defining its purpose.
And that really leaves us with this one final crucial question. In a world of perfect technological execution, when AI has mastered the how of everything, who will be there to teach our children the why? It turns out that in this future, the human role might just be the most important it has ever been. Not to provide the answers, but to provide the meaning and the reason to learn in the first place.